Hey, what's up, everybody? This video is about intermittent fasting for healing Crohn's and colitis. So what's the fuss about? You guys are probably hearing lots about intermittent fasting. You know, whether it's movie stars using it to get lean and ripped for roles, or if you're just fitness stars on the gram and people using it to improve longevity, health, fitness, you name it. But we're hearing more and more about intermittent fasting, or a fasting as sort of a protocol. You're even hearing a dude like GSP, an MMA champion, using fasting to keep his colitis in check. If you're curious about that, go into the description, check the link to the blog post, and you'll see a video I included of GSP's interview and how he's using it to keep his colitis in check. So what is fasting? Well, to keep this video pretty simple, fasting simply skipping breakfast. So if a person was to do intermittent fasting, let's say you were to stop eating around 10 o'clock, you'd have your first meal at 12, and that would give you about a 10-hour eating window to eat whatever you want, you know, to fit your food in that 10-hour eating window. Again, like I said, skipping breakfast is the easiest way to explain it. Everybody might do it differently. Somebody might do a 12-hour fast, 14-hour fast, 18-hour fast, 20-hour fast, leaving them a 4-hour eating window. There's so many different variations of how different people will do it. So what are the benefits of fasting? Well, some of the benefits are reduced inflammation, and for anybody with an autoimmune disease or inflammatory bowel disease, that's awesome news. It also regulates your insulin, and it triggers a process called autophagy. And autophagy is this awesome mechanism of the body that pretty much is like a self-eating, so it's your body recycling dead parts and dead products and regenerating and renewing things. So that's an awesome benefit to intermittent fasting. So if you're wondering how I found out about intermittent fasting, it started when I was working actually a very physical job. I was doing concrete construction. So it's very physical. I was working with a dude, his name was Augustino. And Augustino, if you ever happen to watch this video, I just want to say thanks, because man, you changed my life and all the stuff that you taught me. But I was working with this dude, and I noticed that he'd go through our entire workday and he would only consume like 2 black coffees a day. Yet he worked all day, he jumped out of the truck, he worked hard, he never complained about being tired. He always seemed to be like cognitively really with it. We always had great conversations. We can talk about the most interesting things. Then one day I asked him, I said, man, how come you don't eat? I noticed that you never eat when we're working together. And if we were going to eat, he would never participate. He might sit there, but he would never eat. And then he told me, he was like, well, it's called intermittent fasting. And he goes, I fast because, you know, I used to be an MMA fighter. He used to be pretty competitive in the scene with MMA. And that was one of the tools he used to stay lean and to have energy and, you know, do the things that he did. And the guy was jacked and ripped, so I didn't question it by any means. So I remember the first time he was telling me about it, I picked his brain as much as possible. I was asking him every question I could think about, and then thought about it over the weekend, and I decided I was going to give intermittent fasting a solid go. So the following Monday, I decided I'd try it, and I started with just doing a 14-hour fast. The same thing that I mentioned before. I was doing I made sure I stopped eating at 10, and I was fasted until 12. You know what? The first few days were actually pretty easy. I noticed there was a little bit at the end of the week. I did feel some hunger pains or pangs, whatever you want to call them. And then at that point, what I do is I just drink a few glasses of water, and usually I'd be okay to make it through the back end of my fasting, so usually the last hour or two before I got to eat another meal. And that seemed to work pretty good. And you know what? For the most part, I was awesome with doing the fasting. What I did find though is I did fall off the bandwagon a few times, because it really is hard to say no sometimes when your buddies are going out for bites to eat, or they're going out for drinks, or they're just, you know, eating during work. Some of those things, going for breakfast. So a lot of the people that I hang out with and that I work with, we tend to eat quite a bit together. So that was, yeah, some of the things that when I did fall off the bandwagon, that's what I did. But you know, that's only normal for anybody giving this a shot. You're gonna fall off the bandwagon a little bit. But looking at it now, you know what, I succeeded with it. I've been doing intermittent fasting for 5 years. 5 years. And both my wife and myself, we both intermittent fast, and we do anywhere from 14 to 20-hour fasts, and we do it with relative ease depending on what we've eaten, you know. And you know what? The awesome thing about intermittent fasting is that it's more of a lifestyle than some random fad diet. It actually changes your habits, which become pretty easy over time, and you get to reap some awesome health benefits. And whether it's better energy, better mood, better cognitive function, that you can think more clear, less inflammation. So again, for anybody with an autoimmune disease or anybody that might have like a rheumatoid arthritis or joint pains, I notice like it definitely keeps any IBD symptoms in check. But more importantly for me, because I never really have severe IBD symptoms, I'm pretty much symptom free and I have been for almost a decade. What I do notice is I have had joint pains, and the joint pains have been eradicated by fasting, and I just feel like awesome. And you won't know that feeling until you try it yourself and you experience that. And again, energy is awesome, sleep is awesome. There's just so many benefits to doing intermittent fasting or adding it to a protocol, whether it's to stay lean, to get ripped, or for disease prevention, or to maintain the symptoms of a disease. So many awesome things. And like I said, my wife does it too. And you know what, for a person that's considered trying it for aesthetic reasons, like to stay lean and ripped, I don't mean you have to do intermittent fasting and work out 5 or 6 times a week. Like I work out 3 times a week and I stay super lean and pretty ripped. Like I'm 5'8", 174 pounds, 175 pounds. Like I'm definitely proud of the way that I look, and I'm not saying that to be arrogant, but to say that it's possible for anybody. And it allows you to keep more muscle mass and have to work out less. So and I don't have to do random cardio that, I'm sure not that many people enjoy cardio. My cardio is called drinking a coffee and going for a walk by the river. So there's lots of benefits to doing intermittent fasting. And so if you're curious about trying intermittent fasting for Crohn's and colitis, or an IBD, or pretty much any autoimmune disease, or if you're just looking to get ripped and fit using it, check the description for more information. Or if you've tried it or you're currently using it, let me know tweaks and hacks, things to succeed. Tell me about your experiences in the comments. Make sure to comment below, guys, because really this is one big collaborative effort to help people like overcome their disease, improve their life and their health, and just to experience vitality, longevity, you name it. But thanks a million, guys. I appreciate your support always. Thank you so much.
Are you tired of feeling crappy? Get my free healing guide. Tips, tweaks, and hacks. Click the description for more information.